Welcome back to Bambi's Crafty Corner, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. If today is your first time joining, then please like and subscribe so that way you can see more awesome videos. Today we are talking about toadstools. If you were a kid of the 80s, you know these guys really well. Today I'm gonna make this little green guy here. We're gonna wait a little bit, and if you tune in and like and subscribe, maybe you'll see this guy get made a little bit later. So what you're gonna need in order to do this project, you're gonna need fiber fill. You're probably gonna need a toadstool to look at, so that way you can have a pattern or a diagram to go on. You're gonna need some wool. I've chosen this pack because it has all the colors of our cute little toadstool here. And for him, we're gonna need green. We're gonna need a little of this beigey color and some white. And of course, you'll need your foam mat and your needle. You might need some scissors. There's your measuring tape. And I don't see my scissors right now. Oh, here we go. And some scissors. What we'll be using is using the fiber foam as pretty much the core of his head. So you're going to need like maybe a tennis ball size of fiber foam. I mean, not fiber foam, of polyester, or like the fiber for the fiber fill. There it is. And then what we're going to do is, once we get it actually shaped and molded, we're going to then wrap the green around. So what you're going to do is you just take a big thing of this fiber fill and you just start working it like you would any other felt, and just keep going. This is going to take a while because he's huge. Back to making our little toadstool friend right here. You want to bevel out, or you want to first felt a thick piece of fiber fill into like basically a semi ball like this. Then you want to flip it over, and the way I did it was I had my finger in there, and while that was holding it down, I just felt it in, and it created a valley type of a depression here. Then I took a second piece of fiber fill, and I just rolled it, basically rolling and felting, just like this. Just rolling and felting, basically until I got a gigantic marshmallow shaped piece of fiber fill. See, because that's the way he's shaped like a giant marshmallow. Now what you want to do is, now the red one here, he comes apart a lot easier, so you can actually see what the inside, or what the actual guy looks like if you're going to take him apart. So you would need like a depression in here to stick him inside, and he's shaped just like a giant marshmallow. We're going to open up our color. We're going to be using the green, the beige, and the white out of this package. So the green, we're going to need this kind of yellowy beige. things on his head. It matches up to over in here. Yeah, pretty good. I'm just gonna take off like a nice corner piece here. So compared to the whole thing, this is just how much I'm taking off right now. Start small and work our way. So next, we're gonna go ahead and felt the little body. Now I had a moment, and I thought, well, this is just so yellow, and even though it looks like it's like actually a beige in my hand, it just looks yellow. And this is more of the color that the little character is. And so we basically need to make the dots and the body. So I'm thinking of making the dots and the body the same beige type of color. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's start felting the body. Now I have felted on most of the green. As you can see here, I just need a little bit of filling in, and I felted up our little marshmallow body here. So this is the bottom, this is the top. Now usually they say to leave in a little bit so that way you can felt it in. I'm just not sure that I wanted to do it that way. Now I could felt it in that way, which I am possibly thinking of doing. That's why I just didn't do it like initially at first, because this is like a DIY. I don't have a pattern. All I have is this little guy here to go on, and that's what I'm doing. So as you can see, he's a little bit asymmetrical, so I have to think about how to stitch in the back end so that way he tilts out a little bit. So I'm gonna do that. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start stitching now and then fill in the rest after I get them tucked in. So yeah, so I'm gonna go back with some of the beige and fill this area in now, since it's gonna be my bottom now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start poking this in to that inner part, so that way I can have my front and my back set, and I can just go. Embellished my little toadstool friend here, his little spots, and I'm pretty satisfied with his body and his shape. And he stands just like his other little buddy. So next thing, and the very last thing to do, is to add his eyes. Now, initially, I thought, well, maybe I should use some embroidery thread, but then I thought, because this is actually made of fiber, using the embroidery thread will probably pull out a lot of the fiber fill on the inside. So I did have some polar fleece material in black, and so because I didn't have any free black wool to use, it's all like already on a project or something. So I'm gonna use polar fleece. I have no pattern. I'm just gonna cut out some oblong eyes, and I hope I don't make them funky.